something about this music sounds a little strange to my Western ears. Not really major or minor, and we've covered all the modes except... Oh, it must be time for Jeremy to take on some Locrian melodies. Welcome to Music Student 101. Here are your hosts, Jeremy Burns and Matthew Scott Phillips.
All right, some pretty cool Locrian intro music for a Locrian episode, huh?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, Matt.
So that's an older composition of mine. It is called the Socratic Problem.
Yeah?
It is for piano and viola.
Uh-huh.
And there is actually a Locrian mode in the left hand of the piano, and a Locrian mode in the right hand of the piano, and a Locrian mode in the viola. If I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
But 3 different Locrian modes?
The 3 different Locrian modes, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So not only are you taking this already strange chord mode, you're kind of fitting 3 into one little space.
Yeah, it took a lot of brain power.
What? Tell me about the process. What made you? How did you choose your modes?
Well, I had at the time sort of a systematic way that I tended to go about anything that was polymodal like that. I normally would choose them that were a fifth apart. Could not do this in this case because, as we will learn, the Locrian mode has a diminished fifth. So these are a fourth apart, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
I'm Jeremy Burns.
I'm Matthew Scott Phillips.
We are doing something that I've been putting off for reasons, but it's something we need to go ahead and get into at some point, right? You can't run from Locrian forever, can you?
I mean, maybe. I think some people do.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, a lot of composers do.
A lot of composers do. Then a lot of composers also just run headlong into it.
Yeah.
So,
And we might be talking about some of those a little bit later on, huh?
We might just.
And why, if you're wondering, why are we doing the 7th mode on Melodic Dictation Part 8? Well, that's just because Part 1 was an overall kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
And we did it in an order which we thought would make the best sense. We started with Ionian, and then I think we hit Mixolydian,
right, yeah,
Dorian, based on how many accidentals.
Based on how many accidentals, yeah, major mode versus minor mode, that kind of thing, yeah.
So, again, melodic dictation is the act of somebody like Matt playing a melody, and then some poor chump like me trying to actually get his pencil out and write down the melody on a piece of paper.
AKA Jeremy Torture.
AKA Jeremy Torture.
Which is so much fun for me personally. And I think our listeners actually like it too. I think they're popular episodes.
I think so too. We've talked about that a few times, haven't we?
Oh, yes.
Well, before we get into all that, because I'm going to be putting that off as much as I can, we'll have a little history lesson.
Indeed.
And a little chit chat. And then we're going to try and get our brains into Locrian before I take this on, right? So we're going to play some chord progressions and some twisted melodies.
Yes.
But first, we will have our social section, shall we?
Indeed. So we have a new review.
All right. Love the reviews. 5
stars from Dr. Possum. And Dr. Possum says, I started listening to this podcast a year and a half ago, and it's legit. I took music theory in college and picked up this podcast after avoiding music for a while, and Matthew and Jeremy make theory easy and approachable, along with other great episodes about musicianship in general. They're fantastic.
Hey.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Possum, for the kind words. We strive to make theory easy and approachable as much as we can. I mean, I've kind of learned that theory is never easy. There's no make theory easy button. It's just one of those things. But you can make it less hard. You can make it less difficult by trying to sort of understand the rudiments and the fundamentals rather than just memorizing a lot of empirical information, right? Because it's a system, right? Yeah. It's like learning algebra. It's not just about learning random bits of information. You know, there's a system behind music theory. Knowing that makes things easier.
It makes you kind of stick things together better and quicker. And
Yeah.
when it comes to theory, it's just listen, repeat. When it comes to ear training, it's practice, listen, repeat.
Practice. It's not unlike learning an instrument. The more you practice music theory, the easier and more approachable it is. Mm-hmm. But there you go.
Mm-hmm. And you can apply that to instrument too.
Indeed.
And so thanks again, Dr. Possum.
Thank you very much.
We in Alabama know the possum well.
Oh, yes, we do.
And we appreciate the possum because they kill ticks which cause Lyme disease.
We actually do, yeah. They're not the nicest thing to look at, but they kill a whole lot of bad stuff, and they're actually fairly docile. You know, they don't really bother humans very much. You know, so yeah, we appreciate the possum very well.
So if you are a possum, if you're not a possum, or a doctor, we appreciate those too. Okay, so and then the reason why we read these new reviews is because it does boost our presence and give people a reason to check us out, especially the good reviews,
and a chance to show our appreciation for the kind things people say for us.
Indeed, kind things and kind things people say and do,
yes,
and kind people like Cindy Stevens, actually,
who is a new Patreon patron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cindy is a 62-year-old out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Very nice.
And she took piano for about 10 years and played percussion in a band at the University of North Carolina.
Wow.
And then she began working with a songwriting partner where she wrote words to all of his melodies. And then she began composing her own melodies. And now, fast forward, she is ready to tackle writing her own musical.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
Her own musical. That's awesome. That's such an ambitious project.
That's up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also she says she learned a little theory in her early piano years, but is now learning how well theory knowledge can aid her in her songwriting.
Oh, absolutely.
So what else does she have to say, Matt?
So Cindy says, I would love to see you do a recap of the theory episodes. Mm-hmm. Maybe a 51 to 100 recap, meaning episode 51 to episode 100, mm-hmm. I take it. And then do another 50-episode recap when you get to 150. I found the first one very helpful. I took notes on everything you said just so I could look over what all we've learned and remember to use all of the different things I'm learning. Otherwise, it's hard to catalog in my head. Thanks. Mm-hmm. That's a very good idea. We forgot. About that. But what she's referring to is back in the very, very beginning, every so often, we would do sort of big recaps, so like multi-episode recaps of just everything we've been discussing lately.
Well, the issue I brought up to her was the first one was episode 40, covering episodes 1 through 20, and then the next one was episode 41, covering episodes 20 through 40.
So we did a couple back to back, yeah.
But we never did 50. But if we wanted to do that again, we'd have to do like 4 or 5 back to back, and I think people would just get annoyed without having a lot of theory content and all recaps. So she had a great idea. Well, maybe you don't have to recap every episode. Maybe just the theory episodes.
Maybe just the theory episodes.
So maybe we'll look into that, listeners. Because the first time we did that was based on a listener
idea
request.
Yeah, okay.
So if you think that's a good idea, even if 1 or 2 of you get back and say, yes, please do the big recap, we'll find a way to fit it into where it makes sense and isn't too overbearing.
Yeah, we could do that. And if that's something people would get value from, as Cindy said, then it's definitely something worth doing.
Mm-hmm. So
we have gotten pretty off into the weeds theory-wise lately. It's been some advanced stuff.
It's true. And anything I can do to put off Schenkerian analysis part 3.
So now I have 2 different methods of Jeremy torture.
Uh-huh.
I have the melodic dictation.
Uh-huh.
I have Schenkerian analysis.
Oh, don't forget harmonic dictation, too.
Harmonic dictation. What other forms of
there's 3.
Jeremy torture would you like to hear, dear listeners?
Yeah.
Set theory...
We'll entertain your most twisted dreams.
Not narrativology. You'd probably like that. Set theory.
The 12-tone.
12-tone integral serialism. Yeah,
it's all coming up, y'all.
Yeah. Messianic palindromes.
Well, Cindy also had another good idea. And
Okay.
I'll bring that up. She also asked about some suggestions for music apps for theory, ear training, and recording,
Yeah.
And that's another thing that we kind of forgot about, like episode number 4.
Yeah, we gave some, and some of those don't even exist anymore, is my understanding.
Yeah, that was back in August of 2016. So I think we decided, because other people have asked about that too, that coming up in June, which will be the start of the new semester,
Yes.
we'll go ahead and release an updated apps and recording software episode.
Yeah, that's great. We'll discuss some of the big hip ones.
That should give me enough time to research them, right?
Yeah, well, I've got a few different ones that I'm using now as well. So,
Well, again, Cindy, thanks a lot for the suggestions and thanks for reaching out. We listen to our listeners. You listen to us. We listen to you.
absolutely,
And Cindy is a Patreon patron.
indeed.
If you want to learn how to support us on a monthly subscription basis, you can go to patreon.com/musicstudent101. Mm-hmm. You can see the cool perks we have for the different levels.
Yes,
Perks like a nice little coffee mug or maybe even your own mini episode.
yes. Well, we will answer your music theory question specifically,
And no less, or no more, no less.
No
than,
less.
than 15 minutes, yeah.
and no less than 15 minutes.
Probably, yeah,
It's definitely going to be more.
definitely. As you see, we digress. As we digress.
Easily and often and rapidly.
So, anyways, I think those are all great ideas, and y'all keep them coming, and we'll keep putting out the good stuff for you.
We'll do our best. Yes.
Thanks again, Cindy.
Thank you, Cindy.
And now we have a new listener mail.
Listener mail.
We have listener mail. Listener mail.
I'm not writing a jingle. I don't care how hard you try to get me. No, I might write a jingle. We'll see.
Y'all don't worry. The coffee's going to wear off in just a sec. So Jamie Carlson is a 73-year-old out of Berkeley, California. She's a mother, grandmother, and a wife who finds joy in piano, guitar, and viola.
Oh, how wonderful.
What does Jamie have to say, Matt?
Jamie says, I have done music all my life, so I've learned a lot of music theory here and there, but never in an organized method. I just found your podcast a month ago, and I'm so glad I did. I've enjoyed every episode, and you have taught me so much. What a gift this is for me, and I bet for many, many others. You guys are brilliant, hilarious, thoughtful, and pretty darn smart.
Hey! Keep on listening.
Yeah. Oh, go on.
Yeah, please.
No, seriously, go on. And she does go on. She says, I'm only on the second Circle of Fifths episode. I have a long way to go, but I'm going to love every minute of it. Thanks again.
Nice. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. It's always wonderful to hear somebody sort of finding the podcast for the first time, or only just recently.
Yeah. And Jamie so kindly donated to our cause via PayPal.
Oh, wonderful.
So we don't talk about that enough, honestly.
We don't. We really don't.
But if you don't want to fool around with the whole subscription thing, PayPal is a great way to go.
And there's a PayPal button on our webpage, musicstudent101.com.
And yeah, click on the donate page, and that's where you'll find Patreon, PayPal, and then our little Redbubble storefront.
Yes. Where you can buy merch. We don't talk about that enough either.
Probably because I haven't updated it in a while. I feel like I had all these great things up there, but now all they have are stickers. So I need to go back and
go back and get better merch.
Remind me to do that.
Indeed.
So yeah, so we really appreciate that. And she's not alone. Somebody else actually sent us a PayPal donation, and they didn't leave a return email address, so we'll just call them Lucas from Canada.
Lucas from Canada. Okay.
Very nice fellow.
Thank you, Lucas.
And yeah, just in case they want to stay relatively
anonymous.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of Lucases in Canada. But yeah, we want to thank you because there was no return email, and here we are thanking you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for your help and for your engagement and for your listenership.
Indeed.
Now, I believe it is time to move on, isn't it?
I believe it's time to start talking about the Locrian mode.
Now, Matt, on your notes, you see Jeremy's Locrian rant.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I didn't put it in there, but suffice it to say, there's a good half page here. And here's the plan. Here's the thing. So the thing about the Locrian mode is it's just so strange and so weird and so unresolving. There's just not a lot of music done with it. There's famously the one Bjork song.
Yes.
Army of Me.
Yes.
And it's funny because this video we're going to talk about in a second, they mentioned that one too.
It is the Locrian song, or one of.
So here's what we'll do first. I'll read my Locrian rant. I'll be the bad guy.
Okay.
I'll talk about all of its problems.
Okay.
And all the problems I anticipate having with it.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a quick little section where instead of playing music examples, we're going to talk about some other composers who have been working with Adam Neely, another fine educator.
Okay.
On the YouTubes.
Yeah.
To see if they can make something musical out of this mode. And we'll put a link to that on the website. But first, my rant. You ready?
Rant away.
There's a few good reasons I can think of that will make the Jeremy torture extra brutal on this episode.
Okay.
Okay, first off, you ready? Number one.
Yes.
The Locrian mode is, and this might be a controversial statement, is the least musical, at least to my westernized ears, of all the modes and scales.
Okay.
Matt, what are we dealing with here? How can we spell out the Locrian mode real quick?
So the Locrian mode is the 7th mode of the major scale.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, it is so just start a half a step back from major, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're in F major, then the corresponding Locrian is E Locrian, right? It's just a half step back like that.
Right.
So as such, it has a half step between scale degrees 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then 3 is minor, so it's a flat. So 1, flat 2, flat 3. So far, not so bad, right?
Is that kind of Phrygian?
Yeah. 4 is a perfect 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not so bad.
No.
Yeah, right. Up until now, it's just Phrygian, right?
Yeah, totally.
But then, unlike Phrygian scale, we have a diminished 5th. Mm-hmm. This lovely little thing.
Tritone.
And a flat, and then this is actually a, what is this? This is actually a minor 6, but it doesn't feel like it because it's a whole step away from the diminished 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. And then from there, flat 7 to back to 1. So the whole scale.
Yeah. So when you land on that one, I want to hear it go down one more, you know?
Yeah, that would be Aeolian if it went down,
or even back up to the 2, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
the flat 2.
Yeah, which would make it Ionian. Yeah. We really like that, right? But alas, no,
we don't get that. We like that. We don't get that. And what is one note that all scales and modes have except for this one?
Yeah, this mode does not have a perfect 5th. This mode has the diminished 5th.
The 5 chord in Locrian mode is actually a flat 5. Major chord. It's a major chord.
Yep. Yeah, so that chord.
But it wants to resolve to a flat.
Wants to resolve there to the one chord which is diminished.
Yeah. That's okay. So that's there's my 4th part of the rant is let's see here. There's no tonic really.
Well, no tonic chord really, because it's a diminished chord, and which is sort of contrary to what we think of as tonic function, right? We think of tonic function as a place to rest, but we don't think of diminished chords as places to rest, right?
Diminished chords have a very strong tendency to go to any of the notes that follow any of the 3 members.
It's kind of like trying to use a verb as a noun.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no 5th. We talked about how it sounds weird in general with these strange combination of intervals.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I guess it's, what is it? Half tone, whole tone, whole tone, half tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone, whole tone.
Yeah. That sounds accurate.
Now, furthermore, there's no leading tone.
No, there's not.
Now, you can say Dorian, Phrygian, Aeolian, Mixolydian. None of those have leading tones.
No, they don't.
But at least they have a perfect 5.
But they do have a perfect 5th.
And then a lot of times in these scales and keys or modes and keys, you'll put a leading tone substitution for the flat 7 in there when you're using a 5 chord.
Yes.
To add more of a tendency to resolve back to the 1.
Yes.
Locrian mode, you can't do either of these things. You can't go from 5 to 1 with a perfect 5th, and you can't go from a leading tone from anything to 1.
Really, no.
Unless you have altered notes.
Yep. That's minor 7 to 1. Yeah, and you just kind of want to hear it kind of go or something, right?
Yeah. And now another interesting thing about it is interesting how many whole tones. I guess there's an equal amount of whole tones and half tones in all scales.
In all modes of the major scale, yes, they're equal.
But for some reason, the way the collection works out is just still kind of disoriented. The first half is all very, very squished together.
Yeah.
And then the second half is wide, opens up kind of wide.
It's kind of like an upside down scale.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, totally.
Compared to Ionian or Aeolian, which are, of course, the two most popular.
Well, I'm glad you said that because you remember how we called the Dorian mode the mullet mode? Business in the front, party in the back. I do not know what haircut this mode would be. Like, it's like Phrygian in the front, whole tone in the back, right? And I don't want to muse on haircuts for fear of offending anybody.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Good point.
And then finally, like we said, the 1 chord is a diminished chord, and then the 5 chord is a major, but it's a flat 5, which I think would resolve better to a flat 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which does not exist in this mode.
Oh, it absolutely would resolve better to a flat 1 because that would be down a perfect 5th. So that would, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're right, but instead of that we get, which is it sounds like no kind of resolution at all.
No,
right?
It sounds like it wants to resolve to something else.
Yeah.
So that's my Locrian rant. Okay?
Okay.
Now, we're going to talk about some musicians who have redeemed this mode just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And Matt, you watched this too, right?
I did.
Okay, so this is what I call the Adam Neely experiment, even though he didn't call it that. But it was basically. The YouTube educator Adam Neely has assembled a team of well-known YouTube composers and educators to find ways to make this mode sound good and to not smell so foul, as they put it. We recommend you check it out and give it a listen, but we'll put that on our website, but we'll talk about it with a quick rundown real quick, shall we?
Absolutely.
Okay, so the first one up to bat was Samurai Guitarist.
Yep.
He said he tried jazz, funk, and even bluegrass. Can you imagine doing bluegrass? You'd be doing 1 flat 5, 1 flat 5, 1 flat 5.
Yeah, so.
In the bass. That sounds more Danny Elfman. That sounds Simpson-y.
Well, it's a tritone that makes it sound Simpson-y.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Elfman-y.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, he finally settled on a Dick Dale kind of style surfer rock piece.
Right.
And had a lot of luck with it, actually. He decided not to focus much on the 1 minor 5/7 flat 5 chord so much. if you do 1 in Locrian as a 7th chord.
Then you have a minor 7 chord.
With a flat 5 in there, yeah.
With a flat 5, yeah. 1 minor 7, flat 5.
So it's hard to find that to be home base, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He did use a proper 5 chord substitution to reinforce that weird 1 chord. So he actually did try and do a 5/7.
Yeah, so a sort of a legit
If we're in B, what are you in right now?
I'm in B Locrian.
If you're in B Locrian, it would be an F sharp, 5 chord.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right.
5/7 chord, yeah.
So an F sharp 5/7.
But still going down to that diminished chord.
Yeah.
It just sounds like it's so strange. But he made it work in this Dick Dale kind of thing. He also includes an atonal section, which is far more disorienting than Locrian, so that by the time you return to Locrian, everything feels just a little better.
That's one pretty classic composing technique.
Just throw a little bit of chaos in there, and then by the time you come back to what might have been an otherwise disorienting mode, you feel a little bit just...
Yeah, it's a way to shift perspective.
Yeah.
I've kind of done things similar to that with polytonality, where I took keys that were more dissonant and jarring with each other in the middle sections and bring it back out to keys that were less so. And then now your polytonality doesn't sound jarring at all.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he made a joke, but he made it with such a deadpan expression. I'm not sure if I almost missed it. But he said, if you really want the Locrian mode to sound more musical, just sharpen scale degrees 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7.
I saw that, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty deadpan. And of course, what he means is make it major.
Make it major, yeah. Okay, so anyways, the next composer was a guy named Ben Levin. And he had kind of a suspenseful, hardcore, techno rhythm-driven piece in F-sharp Locrian. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
And he decided to reinforce the mode with the droning F-sharp.
Yeah.
So his technique was mainly to stick with had that drone F-sharp.
Is he the one that sort of said keep for all modes, one of the ways to stay oriented to it was to have a sort of tonic drone?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's how he kind of pulled it off.
Yeah.
But he honored the flat 5 and the tonic chord as a full-on minor 7 flat 5 chord.
Yeah.
Where,
so in F-sharp Locrian, we're talking... kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not exactly that. That's not what he did, but... yeah.
But he then ended it with a very dreamy, pretty, and yet disorienting kind of synth arpeggiations.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if a lot of that was using the more whole tone part of the mode.
Might have been. The mode does have a perfect fourth in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, a bit of course that sort of gets messed up really pretty quickly.
Yeah. There you go. Minor 7, flat 5.
Yeah.
So looking back, I think that the samurai guitarist also mentioned that one way to make it sound more musical was just when he was playing the one chord, he was just omitting the flat 5. So it's where it was more.
So it became more like a minor one.
It was more of a minor chord than a diminished.
You could
chord.
you could almost imagine it being.
Yep.
Instead of.
Yeah. And you can do that. There's nothing that says you can't do that. You know what I mean? But so far, the two main methods are, for one thing, omitting the flat 5 from the tonic chord and making it more minor.
Yeah.
And then another method is to have that droning tonic.
Yeah.
To just reinforce what is the home bass the whole time. So
yeah.
It's going to sound weird, but there's going to be some consistency in there. You know what I mean? Moving on. Oh, also on a side note, Ben had a great poster on the background. Did you see it? It said, "Embrace failure."
I didn't notice that.
Very nice poster. Okay, so moving on, we had a guy named Paul Davids, another fine composer, developed kind of a cool electric synth piece where he uses all the diatonic chords of E-Locrian. But whenever he got back to the one chord, he also decided to omit the flat 5. So he has more of a minor chord situation going on the one chord.
It's kind of like it's kind of like throwing all your junk in the closet when guests are coming over. You know, don't show them the flat 5 of this.
It's also convenient because the 5th is often first on the chopping block when you're trying to, when omissions are a concern. Right?
Sure.
If you're trying to build a 7th chord, for example.
Yeah, I don't know if 1-7 omit 5 and Locrian is going to be that much more pleasant. I guess maybe a little.
It sounds... It's like a major 7 kind of thing or something like that going on in there.
Yeah, again, you could imagine a minor 7 chord, right?
Yeah.
And not... Which is what it would be.
Totally.
A half diminished 7 chord. Which just screams, right? But not going to get that.
Right. So anyway, moving on with Paul, continuing with Paul, one of his themes revolved around the flat 2 and flat 5, and then one of them kind of walked down the mode with hammer-ons leading on to the tonic and landing on the tonic. Mm-hmm. And he also brought in a vocalist who sang along with some of these melodies and gave it kind of a Middle
I remember that. That's pretty impressive to sing in Locrian mode.
Yeah, and it had kind of a Middle Eastern flavor.
Yeah.
Just a little weird, but it still sounded like music to me.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing with Samurai Guitarist and Ben Levin.
Yeah.
They really sounded musical. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay, so number 4, we had a woman named Nare Sol.
That was probably my personal favorite.
Yeah. She wanted to sandwich a lighthearted middle section within 2 darker, murkier, as she put it, sections.
Yeah.
And it was all piano, and it was masterfully and artfully done, and it absolutely was beautiful.
It was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, sort of While the task is to make Locrian mode musical, and the assumption is that's nigh impossible, musical is about context, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she used Locrian mode to create a context for what was going on around it. I thought that was very, very creative.
Yeah. And the music kind of came out as, it was pretty. You know, normally Locrian mode sounds kind of just weird and strange, but it was very pretty how she pulled it off. She had the right combinations. It sounded kind of to me like, you know, like when Mr. Rogers would go to the visits to the neighborhood of make-believe.
Yeah.
There would always be this kind of, when the little train comes out. This kind of piano
Oh, my
music going.
gosh.
But she was able to kind of pull this off with many big and lush chords, such as like a half diminished seventh chords, major seventh chords, and even a good major seven with a sharp 11 to seal the deal. Let's hear a major 7 chord with sharp 11, shall we, Matt?
Oh, man, a major 7 chord. Do you remember what chord tone what scale tone she was on?
Nah, we can just do C if you want to.
Okay, so a major 7 sharp 11. Oh, good grief. So, okay.
Yeah. That sounds nice.
And of course, I'm not a pianist. She was, so she could do the sort of the the hand jump over to the left hand jumping over the right and
crossing over. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all know I'm not a pianist. I can't do anything like that.
It would never occur to me to do something like that.
It wouldn't occur to me. I've directed pianists to do it, so the idea has occurred to me.
Aha! So you know it's done. You know
I know it's done.
Okay, and then finally we have Adam Neely, who was the mastermind behind all this. You know, he created what he called a lo-fi chill hip hop piece, and it was jazzy and mellow with a nice shuffle in the drums. And he was in C Locrian, but the chord he called home base or the tonic was actually, get this, a B flat 7 sus 4 with a C in the bass.
So he's just basically wanting to do what you did. He took the same impetus you said earlier when you said, I wish it would just go down one when we were playing the scale, right? So if he's in C Locrian, but he's at B flat sus 4, so he's going down. So he's in C Locrian, which is just obnoxious, right?
Yeah.
Right? But he's going down and having this chord tone, this sus 4, right? In the as he that he considers his tonic chord.
Did you have that C in the bass over there?
With a C in the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can remember that chord that you got right there, Matt, what he does, he's just doing 2 chords back and forth, okay?
Yeah.
He's doing that chord, but what the tense chord that moves to it is actually, dig this, you ready? E flat, F, G flat, A flat, C.
E flat, F, G flat, A. Yeah.
So that one going back and forth to that B flat 7 sustained chord we were talking about.
Yeah.
Can you go back and forth between those two?
That's what I was doing.
That's weird. I barely noticed.
Yep. So that's the home chord. That's the tonic. E flat sus 7. B flat sus 7. Sorry.
With a C in the bass.
With a C in the bass. So B flat sus 4 9 over C. Moving to E flat F G flat A flat C.
Yeah.
So that's his 5. Right? And this is his 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many weird chords in there, but I mean, if you're looking at the root, technically it could be considered a 3 going to 1.
Yeah.
Right? Because E flat.
Yeah.
Anyways, suffice it to say, what he pulled off, to me, it sounded really sweet, really brilliant.
Yeah.
And he cleverly tricked me to find resolution in a B flat sus 4 C chord / C chord, which is just amazing.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened.
And guess what, Matt?
What's that?
It sounded like music.
Music is all about context, right?
Uh-huh.
So, we have some common tones to work with in this chord. And I think you may be not necessarily hearing a resolution per se, but finding aesthetic pleasure in E flat and F.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Being kind of still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
One opinion, anyway. And C also still being there.
Yep.
So yeah.
Maybe that's part of the mediant relationship with those common
Yeah, so
tones.
that's right.
Common tones often occur within mediant relationships, right?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the whole idea behind mediant relationships. So you're probably finding a certain amount of aesthetic pleasure, and I've got a few frequencies here that are never going away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's similar to Ben Levin's drone idea, honestly, right?
Yeah. Well done.
Not so much to orient us to a mode the way Ben Levin did it, but more just to keep us sort of from feeling like we're lost in a sea of dissonance, which is the danger in Locrian mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we got something to grab onto here. We've got E flat and F and C that are always going to be there.
Yeah. Well, what he did was he called it chill hop, lo-fi chill hop, which is really kind of what sounded to me like hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're looking for genres to mess around with Locrian, consider hip hop, right?
You're right.
Because a Phrygian can work well
Yeah.
via Snoop Dogg,
Right.
and so many others.
Mm-hmm.
Why shouldn't Locrian work? Especially if you're just focusing on that first kind of creepy half of the,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the same with those subgenres within the death metal realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they actually use Locrian a good bit, honestly. So does prog metal, for that matter.
Yeah. So
Math
anyway,
rock and all that stuff,
Yeah. So anyways, we just kind of wanted to call that video to your attention and suggest that you check it out. So get up on YouTube or just click the link on our website and you'll find Making the Locrian Scale Sound Good with a question mark. So there you go. So now we know that we have the 5 artists that Kevin Neely chose, himself included.
Yep.
Bjork and Matt
and me.
Dr. Phillips.
Yeah. There you go. There are definitely others, I promise.
Anyways, all of these composers really stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park, if you ask me. It was fun to hear them explain their methods and to hear them commenting in real time during the playback of their fellow composers' pieces. That part kind of annoys you, though, didn't it?
I'm too old. I'm not a big fan of this sort of Twitch streaming kind of thing where you've got the guy the person in the head in the window of something giving play by. I'm not a fan. I don't know why.
There's a time and place for it. There's been some really good people like commenting on music they hear for the first time,
Yeah.
But anyways, big shout out to Adam Neely. Go check it out. And now let's get Locrian.
Let's get Locrian.
Shall we?
All right.
Well, first I'm going to actually give you a little bit of history.
Oh, okay. Let's give me some history.
Yeah, so the region of Locris was in central Greece near Mount Parnassus and in what is modern-day Atalante.
Okay.
Atalanti. It is about as far to the east as one can be from the coast of the Ionian Sea. Not to be confused with Sea Ionian. Oh! On that piece of land, that is. So does that sound about right?
Yeah, yeah.
As far as you can get from the Ionian Sea on that piece of land?
As far as you can get from the Ionian Sea, yeah.
Their neighboring tribes were the Phocians and the Dorians. Neighbors?
I see what you're doing here.
I'm trying like hell. The Locrian tribes and their territories tended to be dominated by their neighbors and thusly played a very small role in Greek history.
Uh-huh.
Does that sound about right too?
That sounds about right. There's a lot of metaphor in this history lesson.
Well, that's a bit of history peppered in with some theory dad jokes, which is,
theory dad jokes.
I thought was the best kind, but we'll see. That might be our next bad review. I just thought that was interesting because I wish we did that for Lydian and
yeah.
I kind of wish we'd done that for all of them, but maybe we'll do a history.
As far away as possible from the Ionian Sea.
Yeah. SEA. All right. So while there's not a whole lot of songs other than the ones we mentioned, and please go listen to those, and listen to Army of Me by Bjork to get a feel for the Locrian mode. But what we're going to have to do on this episode, I think, is I'm just going to try and get my brain in the Locrian feel.
Yes.
And one way we can do that first is talk about the diatonic chords within Locrian, right?
Absolutely.
So let's start off with the 1 chord, shall we?
The famous Locrian diminished 1.
Yep. And then if you move on to the 2.
It's a flat major 2, so it's actually a Neapolitan.
Yeah, it's kind of Neapolitan, isn't it? Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Go back and forth between those 2. Oh no, that just sounded like 7-1.
Yeah,
right.
No kidding.
Okay, so anyways, let's move on to 3.
Just
straight up minor.
Yep, the straight up minor. 4, also straight up minor.
Yeah.
And then we get our lovely little flat 5.
Yeah, which also sounds a little Neapolitan. Even coming from the 4, you know what I mean?
It is a major chord, which is helpful. And then major 6. Yeah. And then flat 7.
Flat minor 7, huh?
Flat minor 7, yeah.
And then back to 1.
And then back to 1.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just really want to hear that. I want to go one more. I want to go one more up and.
Yeah.
But you don't get to. There it is.
You just did that for Jay, the guitar player. Inside joke.
Inside joke.
One of our fine listeners who can't stand hearing a 5/7 chord all by itself and not going to the 1. It happens sometimes in music.
It happens, absolutely.
Okay, so now what I want to try and do, Matt, we're going to have a little bit of fun here. You ready?
Yes.
We're going to play some common favorite chord progressions, just a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is the Matt torture part before we get into Jeremy torture, because you got to process all these things here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly.
But let's hear it in minor. Pick a minor key and let's do 1 4 5 1.
Okay, that should be easy. I'm going to be in G minor. And then that's a major 5. I don't know which 5 you wanted, but.
Yeah, let's do a major 5. Yeah, hit that again. Yeah.
Okay, so
1 4
and then 5 1.
Now, of course, in minor that would be a minor 5, but most times in classical music we put a major 5 in it.
Yeah, would be minor 5.
So that's both of them. But now let's hear that in G Locrian if we can.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Choose your keys wisely, Matt.
Seriously. So 1. Minor 4. Then flat major 5. And then diminished 1. I promise I played that right.
Right. Okay, let's move on. Let's try this one then. A lot of people dig 1 6 2 5 in major.
All right. Let's see if I can make this easier on myself this time. I wonder if I can play that in B major. Does it become very easy in Locrian, right? Because B Locrian has no sharps or flats.
Absolutely.
So we're going to play 1, and then we're going to do 6. Right? And then we are going to do 2. Yeah. And then C sharp minor. And that C sharp minor is going to move to F sharp major. And bring us back to B. There we go.
Okay. Now we just heard that. Now let's hear that in Locrian.
Now all that struggling I just did is going to pay off because B Locrian is easy.
Right. You pick the one in major that's the most difficult, but it's easier in Locrian. Right?
It's easier in Locrian. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go 1 and then 6. That actually sounded all right. Then we're going to go to that flat 2. And then we're going to go to that flat 5.
Yeah, which
sounds like we resolved there, didn't we?
That sounded okay.
But no. That sounds like the start of a new chord progression.
Yeah, it does. It does.
But that was the one.
Or like even just did something to make the 5 weirder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So No resolution there.
No.
More resolution in the middle of the progression where it needs to be at the end, you know?
Yeah.
Classically speaking.
Classically speaking.
To our westernized ears.
To our westernized ears.
Then finally got one more for you, Matt.
Okay.
In major, how about, this is everyone's favorite chord progression, apparently. This is the one that you hear the most on rock and roll, like pop music.
Oops.
A little bit based on the circle of fifths, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so the chord we're talking about, the compression we're talking about is 1, 5, 6, 4 in major.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, forget it. I'll just be in D major, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, E-Locrian might be a friendly one because it's only got the one.
Yeah.
It's only got the one extra.
Yeah. Matt torture. Love it.
It's up to you.
All right, so we'll be in E.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And go, and hopefully fairly easy, go 1, 5.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. 5, and then 6. And then 4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
So there it is in major, huh?
There it is in major.
Let's hear that bad boy and look. And that's the wagon wheel. That's the wagon wheel progression. There's only been a million songs that have used that progression.
Yeah.
So now let's hear that in Locrian.
Okay. So in Locrian, I'm in E-Locrian.
Uh-huh.
Which is only going to have a B flat. So already I've got a diminished 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so check out this B flat 5. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's major 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down to minor 4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then back to 1. Not very musical, it doesn't seem like.
It's just a freaky scale. It's freaky scale, man.
To our westernized ears. Probably the most easternized ears.
Probably
All corners of the globe ears are going to be thrown by this crazy little mode. Okay. Now we're going to try one more. Now that was kind of getting me in the harmonic kind of groove here, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think it did a lot of good.
I don't think it did either. It didn't do me any good.
But we're just having fun here, right? Well, I'm having fun here.
That was torturous. That was...
Okay, so now since we're doing melodic dictation, just a couple of melodies for us, Matt.
Okay.
Let's hear the Itsy Bitsy Spider in major. Okay, that sounds pretty nice.
Uh-huh.
Now, how about Locrian? No, I mean, so you know what? That didn't hurt so bad, but it only involves the scale degrees 1, 2, 3, and 5, right?
Right.
Which is more or less the first half of the mode.
Right.
So in order to cover a little bit more ground, let's try Over the Rainbow first off in major.
First off in major.
Classic.
Yeah.
Lovely. Pretty.
Yeah, lovely, pretty.
Now let's hear that in Locrian. If it can be done. All right, I'm getting optimistic here.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting worried here. Okay, so anyways, that's just an example of how quickly a melody can get warped.
Oh yeah,
and twisted.
Really bad.
And,
really bad.
So now we're going to move on to what we love to call the Jeremy torture.
The Jeremy torture,
where Matt will play a melody a few times, and I will attempt to transcribe it.
And we will attempt to transcribe it.
I want to say finally that I'm anticipating some problems, the ones I mentioned earlier in my rant, you know? I want to say that I can't really sing down to find the starting note if I wanted to. I don't think that method would work.
No, you really can't.
But I'm hopefully can use my interval recognition to do that.
That would be my advice.
And I'm also hoping said recognition will carry me through these 3 or 4 exercises. Because I think instead of thinking I'm going up any kind of scale, I feel like I'm going to have to narrow down the the intervals, which is what we kind of tell people not to do, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Just thinking out loud here.
Just thinking out loud.
So, I will get my pen and my notepad.
Okay.
And you will think of a cool melody to play. A cool, easy, maybe 2 measures tops. I'm kidding. Do what you do, and I'm gonna try and hang.
I will try to keep it in 2 measures, though.
Okay, thank you.
Because this is actually, I mean, Locrian mode is not easy.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a kind of recommended method that we use, a kind of a plan of attack.
Right.
Matt, the good doctor, is going to give me hopefully at least 4 listens.
Yeah, I'll give you 4.
And now, so I'm on the first listen. I'm going to try and focus on the rhythms, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to over the staff. I'm going to write what I think is a whole note, half note, quarter note, whatnot.
Right.
And then second listen, once I feel like I've kind of nailed those rhythms down,
right?
And even if I haven't, I still have to move on to the second listen, which I'm going to try and focus more on the contour.
Yeah.
Do we start and go up and then down and so forth? What kind of landscape does this create if you're looking at the stave?
Absolutely.
You know, hills, valleys.
Hills and valleys. Yeah.
And then, so maybe for the third listen, I'm actually trying to fill in the melody.
Yeah.
I'm actually I had the rhythm in the back of my brain. I had the contour in the back of my brain. So now I'm going to take a crack at actually writing the notes in.
Yes.
And then maybe ideally by the fourth listen, we're confirming that.
Ideally by the fourth listen, you're confirming that. Yeah.
But if not.
So rhythms, general contour, specifics, and then confirmation.
Yes. All right. So shall we do our first one, Matt?
Let's do our first one. So I'm going to be an E-Locrian.
E-Locrian, okay.
Yeah. Because you're right. I've decided I like it. It's easy.
Okay, so I'm gonna. Now this is tricky because I need to. Okay, I know that it's just got one B flat in it, but let me think about how I would go about theory wise and figure out what to put in key signature, right?
You'd put 1 flat and it's B flat.
Yeah, but that's just because you just said that. if I wanted to sit down there and actually think about it.
Oh, if you wanted to sit down and actually think about it, you would think Locrian is the 7th mode, right?
Yeah.
So you would think, and we're looking for E-Locrian. Mm-hmm. So you would think E is the 7th mode of what major scale?
That would be F.
And that'll be F. So what key signature is F?
1 flat.
1 flat and it's B flat.
All right. So that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to put this little flat right there. Mm-hmm. What, do we have a time signature?
Let's do 3/4.
3/4. Love it. And then what we normally do is I ask Matt to play what's going to be the starting note, and I guess it. And I guess I'm going to do that this time too.
Yeah.
So, but then to do that, you would normally orient me in the key, which is like 1 4 5 1.
Right.
So just try and do that.
It's not necessarily going to help you this time.
Just try and do it and see what happens.
So and so there's your do for what it's worth.
Okay.
And it's also your starting pitch.
Oh, beautiful. Which is E.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to put that up here. Well, I'm going to put the E here, and then I'm going to put whatever I think the note value is going to be over it. Okay. So, ready when you are, sir.
All right. First time. Here we go. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So if we got 3 quarter notes within the measure, we start off in first measure, 1 quarter note, another quarter note, a dotted quarter note, and then an 8th note. Mm-hmm. No problem. Second measure, I've already forgotten. So this will be listen 1.2. Okay, so that just sounded like 3 quarter notes.
Yeah.
No problem there. 2, 3. Okay, now We're going to try and focus on the contour.
The contour. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I heard it kind of go, and I'm also using arrows on my paper to kind of guide me a little bit.
Yeah.
I heard it go up and then down, and then maybe up and then down, down, down.
Yeah. And this is a good time to think about things like what is the relationship of the end note to the starting note, and things like that, right?
Yeah. Now I heard on the first note, I heard an interval of a minor 6.
Yeah, good call.
And so, which is one of my favorite intervals, which is why I know it. And so going up from an E to a minor 6 would put us at a C.
Yes.
Okay, so the second note is going to be C. I can't even sing that.
Neither can I, apparently.
Okay, so I think I said enough on the contour. It just kind of goes up and then up and then down, down, down.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we can move on to the next listen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so third listen. We're going to try and focus on getting these notes right. And I think what I need to do is actually start this on a new staff because I have my rhythm notes are in the way here. But that's no concern of y'all's. Just my own housekeeping here. Okay, let's hear that third listen.
Third listen. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so what I think I'm hearing the first thing I'm hearing is a minor 6 interval, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go from E up into a C. Now, staying in this mode, I think we just go down a step. Gosh, I think so. I know that I feel like the last measure is just moving 3, 2, 1 down to the final.
Possibly.
Let me try that out and see how that goes. And then I'll find out whatever that one mystery note is, which is the last note of the first measure. I'm kind of doing this in reverse here.
That's okay.
In reverse order. Okay. I'm on my third listen, and I have 5 out of the 6 notes.
That's really great.
Okay? And here's what we got. I got first measure. I got quarter note on E, dotted quarter note on C, mystery note, which is an 8th note. And then I have what I think is going to be all quarter notes moving from G to F to E.
You have 4 out of the 6 notes.
Maybe that'll work, huh? Oh, really? Okay. Okay, wow, okay. All right, so let me just take this fourth listen to try and round it all out.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I think I might be hearing 4, 2, 1 maybe at the end. And that would mean that we go down to maybe a 3. Okay, so here's my big guess. You ready?
Yes.
All right, first measure. Like I said, E, quarter note, C, dotted quarter note, and then we're going to bump down it to a third to this A, and then...
Very good.
No good?
Very good.
Oh, thank you. Good. That was our 8th note. And then measure 3, I want to say we go up a step to what would be 4, which would be a B flat, and then down, skipping to 2 and 1, which would be F and E.
Very nice.
Is that it?
Very perfect. That is it exactly. You got it.
Nice, man.
The only thing, and you got all of the right notes. The only thing is that B flat is not 4; it is flat 5. Remember?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
In my head, I was an F for some reason. Oh, because the key
Well,
signature.
I mean, it would also be sharp 4. I mean, it's.
But also, I look at the key signature. I just didn't think Locrian. I thought F major.
Yeah, of course.
Of
course.
Like I would.
I mean, this thing makes a certain amount of sense in F major, right?
Oh yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah, but
That's not what happened.
that's not what happened.
So we're okay. So moving on to our next exercise.
Next one. So let's be in C. Locrian.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So now I know that this one is very flatty. Very flatty.
Very, very flatty.
In fact, let's see here. We'll have a B flat. We'll have an E flat. We will have Big Ed. And we have an A flat. Dan. D flat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go camping. This is G flat. Frequently. I don't think there is an F in there, is there?
No. So we're just going out to the G.
There's 5 flats in here, right?
B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat.
Okay, great.
Because C is the 7th mode of what major scale? Or the 7th note.
Well, I guess it would be D flat, right?
It'd be D flat.
If we're in the flat key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So D flat has the 5 flats. Okay, great.
I suppose you could also think C sharp. Mm-hmm. But, whatever. So we're going to be in C. Locrian.
Mm-hmm.
Shall I even bother orienting to the key? Does it help?
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Why not?
So 1, 4, and then minor 5, and then and this is your starting note, which is still your do.
Great. Should I do this one under the ledger line? Yeah. And then what time signature?
Let's do 4/4 this time.
Common time. Good old common time. Okay.
All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Starting on the 1.
Middle C even. 1, 2.
That's right, because we're in C Locrian. You see, I went ahead and put a D there. Okay, C, middle C.
C Locrian.
Quarter note, probably, maybe.
You could even write it in bass clef. That might also be. It doesn't matter.
I'll stick with treble.
Right. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so let's see here. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what I'm hearing is it like 4 eighth notes? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da da. And so we got 4 eighth notes, a dotted quarter note, and then one more eighth note.
And that's one measure.
And that's one measure, huh? Yeah, yeah. And then I think the last measure is just 4 notes, right? 4 quarter notes. Oh no, those are all the eighth notes.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. Last measure we got 4 eighth notes, and then a half note, and that completes the measure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess we're on we're gonna go ahead and do our third listen, right?
Third listen. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's gotta be that's probably a 4, because it doesn't sound too weird. Sounds kind of normal. Okay, so let's just talk about the contour.
Okay.
So that when I'm looking at when I listen to the contour, I feel like it kind of starts and goes up maybe a third, and then back down to where it was, and then up a fourth, and then moving back down again.
Yeah.
And I think I might know what it might do, but so the overall contour is kind of up and then down and then up and then down. I mean, most of the contours are like that.
Yeah.
But I'm putting arrows where it's happening on my paper. Right?
Yeah. Good plan.
And then I think I'm ready to start maybe identifying these notes. Okay, so let's hear our third listen, so I can do that then.
Third listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's see if this works out. Okay. Here on the third listen, I think I might have it. Well,
Okay.
we'll find out here. First measure.
Yes.
Again, we start off with 4/8 notes. 4/8 notes. First one C. Second one E flat. Whoa! Crap! I'm already messed up here. See, that wasn't a third. Na 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 na.
What is this interval?
Is that a half? Is that just a half step?
That's a half step.
Okay, so I felt so confident there. So what we're doing instead is C up to D flat.
Yep.
Na na na. Back to C. Na na. Okay, and then back down to a B flat. Na na. Maybe that's a fifth. Maybe that's that weird fifth.
What interval did you just sing?
Na 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 na. It's a fourth. It's a perfect fourth. Yeah. But it would be a perfect fourth up from that B flat. Which
Up from the B flat, right?
That's cool. I got it. That's an F, right? No, that's an E. E flat.
E flat.
Okay. Guess we're in C Locrian. Okay, and that's that half dotted quarter. That's that dotted quarter note.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we are at that E flat. So I think we move down to a D. Na. And then I've already lost my place. So that was the third listen. I guess I'll use my fourth listen to try and round off the second measure. But I think in the first measure, what we have is C, D flat, C, and that would be our B flat, and then up to a E flat, and then just one step down, or a whole step down to a
step down
to a D flat. Okay, so let's hear. Okay, so I think fourth listen.
Fourth listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Focusing on the second measure, I think what I'm hearing is we're starting off on that tonic again. Which is the C, because we're in C Locrian. And then we're just moving down, I think, to 7, 6, 5, 1.
Yeah.
So C. Okay, so first note, second measure, C, D. I'm sorry, B flat. And then A flat, and then what is the fifth? G flat, and then back up to C. Haha, right?
There you go.
Okay. Okay, let me read this out one more time then. You ready?
Yep.
First measure, eighth note C, eighth note D flat, eighth note C, eighth note B flat, dotted quarter note F, E flat. That was E flat. Yeah, and then down to an eighth note of a D flat, and then second measure, 4 eighth notes starting with C down to B flat to A flat. G flat, back up to the whole note. I'm sorry, half note, which is back to the tonic. Yeah.
There you go.
That's pretty cool, actually. That sounded musical to me a little bit.
Yeah. You can
Matt.
make this scale sound musical.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm feeling still okay about all this. All right, good deal. I was horrified. horrified of this. Okay, another one.
All right. One more.
And it's so funny. Normally yeah. There was a time where I could ask, hey, is this going to be major or minor or what? But I think we've gone past that a lot.
Yeah, we're past that. This is neither of those, really. So let's be in D-Locrian.
D-Locrian. Mm-hmm. So D-Locrian would be the 7th of E flat.
Would be the 7th of E flat.
So I do this key signature of E flat, but I know I'm in D. So big B, E, and A.
There you go.
3 flats.
3 flats.
Time?
Let's do 6/8.
Oh boy. I hope there's some dotted notes in this. Still 2 measures?
Still 2 measures.
Sweet.
So we'll do, and then, our key 1, 4. There you go.
Oh, is that your starting note?
Yeah. It's just a tonic again, D.
Okay, so D. Great. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So that'll be a dotted quarter note at the very first of that. And then I just need to fill out the rest of the measure. Okay. So for rhythms, I think I'm doing pretty good here. What I thought I recognized was basically the first measure was just filled out by all 8th notes, 6 8th notes in a row.
Yep.
Hence the 6/8. And then something happens in the second measure. Either it's going to be a whole note or a dotted quarter note, and then maybe 2 more notes or something like that. But I guess I need to figure that out.
Yeah.
So it's like da 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 da. Was that it?
That was like 3 measures.
Let's hear that one more time for me.
Okay, here we go.
2.2. 1.2.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, so I think I got this. I think I got the second measure is just a a quarter note, and then an 8th note, and then a dotted quarter note.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty common rhythmic pattern for 6/8 time.
Okay. So those are the rhythms.
Yep.
Now I'm going to try and get the contour here, and I'll repeat that again. So first measure, all 8th notes, 6 8th notes in a row.
Yep.
Second measure, quarter note, 8th note, dotted quarter note.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so whenever you are ready, we'll try and do our second listen, which is contour.
Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Na, na, na. Okay, I think in the first measure, we're going down and then back up. Na, 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 and then down and then up even more. That's what I'm thinking is going on.
Okay.
Does that sound kind of right?
Sounds kind of right, yeah.
Okay, let's give that a listen. Actually, yeah, let's give that a listen. I'll try and fill in these notes.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, well, I'll see what I got so far here. I think what I got here is all 8th notes here, like I said. D, C, D, E flat, D. I guess this would be a G. No, that's the first note probably in the other measure. So then maybe it just goes to a F. No. So D, C, D, E flat, D, E flat. Maybe just back up to E flat. Yeah, okay. So it just went up to E flat, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first measure, all eighth notes, D, C, D, E flat, D, E flat.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to hear it again then.
All right,
I'm
ready?
going to use my fourth listen to try and get this very last measure. It's only
Excellent.
3 notes. Shouldn't be a problem, right?
Here we go.
I'm having to use all of my fourth listens for this.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That sounded kind of like a leading tone. Did you end on the 5 by chance?
I very well might have.
Oh, great. Okay, so I think the last 2 notes are 4 and 5, which in the key of D-Locrian would be G flat. No, just G.
Just G.
And A flat.
And A flat.
Okay, that's what I'll do. A flat, dotted, whole quarter note, G. And then there's this one mystery note that I'm not quite, but I can probably use my theory brain or my what's left over brain. In more ways than one, I mean that. Na, 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 na. Boy, I just don't know. I just do not know.
Well, you've got one figure that's ending on E flat and another one that's starting on G.
Uh-huh. So there's just maybe an F in between there?
Maybe there's just an F in between.
Let's just try and go with that. It seemed like it was a bigger leap than that,
Well,
but Locrian could be just messing with me.
E flat to F is an augmented second.
That's right. It's a third technically, right? A minor
It's
third?
technically a third,
A
yeah.
minor third? Okay.
It's technically E flat. Well, no, hold on. E flat to F is just a major second. My
Major
bad.
second.
So yeah, no, you should have got that.
You're trying to help me out. Thanks anyways. The thought was there. Okay, so you ready? I'm going to call this out.
Yeah, call it out.
Okay, so first measure, eighth notes, all of them. D, C, D, E flat, D, E flat, and then up to F on the second measure. And I guess that holds a little longer. Yeah, that holds for the quarter note. And then we have an eighth note, G, and then eighth dotted quarter note, A flat.
There you go.
And that's how it ends, huh?
That's how it is.
So let's hear that one more time. Huh. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
But I got it.
But you got it.
Okay. I feel like maybe one more.
One more?
And then we'll call it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Take your time. Don't be afraid to make it easy.
Let's be easy. Let's be in B-Locrian.
I was hoping you would say that. Okay.
And let's be in 4/4.
4/4, no key signature whatsoever because it's all the white keys.
Yeah,
No accidentals.
exactly. Yeah.
Same key signature as C. Okay.
All right, ready?
Uh-huh.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Was that just 2 half notes in the first measure?
Yep.
Okay. First measure, 2 half notes, so the second one gets a little busier. And I think that we have, at this point, eighth note, maybe eighth note, maybe eighth note, maybe eighth note, and maybe half note.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's see. Okay, just to confirm that. If I got the rhythms on the first listen, I just want to confirm it. Right?
Yeah, right.
So let's hear that one more time. Half note, half note. Na, 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 na. So it's actually five eighth notes.
Nope.
No, I was right then.
You were right.
4/8 notes. So the last measure, 4/8 notes. First measure, 2 half notes. Last measure, 4/8 notes and a half note.
Yes.
Great. All right, and then time for the contour.
Time for the contour. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So we have a really big leap in the first measure, and I'm almost thinking that might be a tritone, even though I wrote P5. Craziness, not crazy. That's a tritone. Okay. All right. So first measure is a big old leap. What I think might be a tritone. Mm-hmm. And then second measure, we go down a little bit. Na 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 na. Down. And then up and then down.
Yeah.
And I think we land back on that B. I think we're landing on the tonic. So
Yeah,
I'll go
good
ahead
ear.
and stick that in there. That's our contour. And I'll go ahead and put this down too. And then we'll be ready for our third listen.
Yes.
Okay. Whenever you are ready, sir.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Here's what I think happened. Third listen. I think I'm going to try and call this out. See what happens here. You ready? Mm-hmm. First measure. B up to an F. Both half notes.
Both half notes.
Second measure. I think we moved down from the F, and these are 4/8 notes and then a half note. And I think it's going to go down like this. E, F, G, and then C.
So, it's what you said.
Is that just 3, 2, 1 at the end? Or is that like 4, 2, 1? Or neither?
It's 4, 3, 1.
That's okay. 4, 3, 1. You gave me that one, but I asked for it. Okay. So that's the missing link, I think. Okay, fourth listen. We'll do the fourth listen. I'll confirm what I think I have here.
Okay.
And watch how wrong I am.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so last measure. I think what we have here is we got a D moving down to a C, and then up to an F, up to an E. I heard you over there. And then down to a D, and then down to a B.
There you go.
Ooh, that was a hard one.
That was one based around the diminished tonic triad, right?
Yeah.
So,
So the E was the only note that wasn't in that triad.
the E and the C were the only two notes
No,
not
so
in
we're
the tonic triad.
So
Yeah.
that shouldn't have been so hard for me.
Well, this is why you should study Schenker.
Why? What's that got to do with Schenker?
Oh, because that melody was the prolongation of the tonic triad, just happened to be diminished this time.
Okay. More Schenker to come then. And then we'll come back and do the Locrian thing again.
Yeah, because it's so relevant.
Yeah.
Schenker just loved tonics that were diminished triads, so that just fit his theory perfectly.
Man, wild man.
It's tough scale, huh? But I feel like we can make this thing musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is possible to make the Locrian musical.
Yeah.
It's just about context.
I wonder if it's just a matter of work that takes to make it musical.
Maybe so.
and the mental gymnastics.
And what you define as musical in the first place, and how do you make anything musical?
That's true.
Right? If you rely on everybody having a fun, intuitive sense of what tonal harmony does, then Locrian's not your friend.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are more willing to rely on, the colorations, then Locrian's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I was kind of sweating it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Except for that last exercise.
Except for the
very last one.
Yeah. See, this is why you should study Shanker.
Well, okay.
You're going to get a chance.
Yeah. I'm sure I will. Probably sooner than later.
Probably.
I guess it depends on what people think about the recap episodes.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll probably do that and then get back to Shanker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point.
While it's still fresh for me and you.
Yeah. Not too soon for Jeremy.
The planning phase. We're kind of just thinking out loud here. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you got something from it. If not, at least maybe you got to spend a little more time with the red-headed step mode. That is
Locrian mode.
Yeah.
Or enjoy torturing Jeremy, which I always do.
Yes, there was plenty of that. But Matt, you got some torture too.
I got a little torture too. I had to try to play in Locrian mode. I don't want to do that again.
The torture was mutual, huh?
Yeah.
Good way to wrap it up. Actually, I do have one more question for you, Matt. We could probably call this the last melodic dictation episode in theory, since we just covered Locrian. What else is there? Where is there to go? But there's also whole tone scales, octatonic scales. Mm-hmm. There's like hyper versions of modes. Hypodorian, was it?
Yeah, there are modes of other scales. There are modes of harmonic minor. And such things. And people have dictated pitch class sets.
Okay, so there is more melodic dictation.
There's more stuff we could do.
We could do. And if we can, chances are we will.
Chances are we will.
All right, well, thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you around.
See, Jeremy? That wasn't so bad. Well, most of it. There's more exotic scales and modes to explore, so keep listening. If you wish to support us, click the donate page on our website at musicstudent101.com. You can also subscribe, share, and like on social media. And for questions or comments, you can reach us at info@musicstudent101.com.